Hello, hello. This is Patty Joe. I am trying to get a few of these done per day before I start training at my new job on Wednesday night. They're training me on night shift. That is so harsh. Okay. Because I haven't worked a night shift in over a year, well over a year, and I am telling you this, that is going to be a hard thing for me to do. I am literally going to bed when it's dark and getting up well into the morning. So, this is going to be so hard for me. I don't know whether I'm going to stay up all day that day and just make it a whole 24-hour deal and then just try to sleep during the day because I have 3 nights in a row for my first week. I do not have a car, so transportation, I only have a motorcycle right now, so transportation is an issue because no, I'm not going to ride the motorcycle when it is 30 or degrees or less because you lose 15 degrees on a motorcycle. It is even snowing here and the ice is going to be epic, I'm sure. So that's just a recipe for disaster. So transportation is going to be an issue. And so I am just like nervous. These are going to be 50, 16-hour days for the first week or so. But that is why I'm doing so many at once. So thank you so much for joining. We are between the state's questioning of this young lady from the extreme dance group and the monsters questioning of her. And somewhere in the middle of this, they do try to, I think they're trying to explain hearsay, but let's see if I can bring it up for you so we can listen to that first, and then we'll watch the bully. The horns really come out on the bully.
Is the start of the statutes that deal with hearsay.
She just gave him the statute number, like 908
what
something.
What it is, it goes through statements which are not hearsay, and it has a whole host of exceptions that are referenced.
He's not going to read that anyway. So the only part you missed that I didn't back it up for was she actually named the statute number and referred him to the book that she has so generously let him use during the trial that he hasn't so much as cracked open maybe once.
In 908.03. So I just direct your attention to that because many of your hearsay objections, they're not hearsay at all, sir. And I hope you're not just saying them just to interpose an objection.
Yes, that's what he's doing.
But I think it would be very helpful if you were to familiarize yourself with that.
I don't know why she's so jumpy right now.
For the record, Your Honor, how do I know that the prosecution isn't objecting to anything based on the same assumptions?
I don't understand what you're saying.
A lot of
You have that
times,
statute book, so if you'd like to read the hearsay statute, start with 908.
Is he trying to insinuate that the prosecution is just interjecting random objections like he does? Is that what he was trying to? When you point your finger at somebody, 3 are pointing back at you, Darrell. Look at your own behavior. He just has no. Ugh.
01, continue with 908.02, the rule, and 908.03 are all the exceptions. Continues with 908.04. I realize you are not a lawyer, Mr. Brooks, but you still should have a good faith basis to make the objection and then not argue with me when I rule on the objection. All right?
She's really trying to help him.
It's one word or statement. If it's self-evident.
First of all, she's not correcting him in front of the jury. She's really trying to, at this point, avoid doing that from now on. He's so stupid. He doesn't even know when he's getting help.
Evident to the court. I don't need the parties to even say much at all. But that's primarily why your objections based on hearsay. There was one I sustained because it was in fact calling for hearsay. But when a witness has
those were
knowledge,
wrong.
hold on,
No.
the witness is not asked to say what another person has said, assuming there's no exception that applies or it's just not hearsay under the rule, and they have otherwise personal knowledge about something, they can provide that answer. So I'm hoping that's helpful to you as you formulate your objections. Of course, I'll keep ruling on them. I just ask that when I rule on them, you not interpose the same objection before the witness has answered. When I say it's overruled, person may answer. Your objection stands. It's noted. It doesn't need to be said again.
I'm now informed. I don't understand how someone can testify to things being told in the hospital. They're not a family member, a parent, or anything. So how would they know what injuries someone would have? How would that information be disclosed to someone without being a parent or?
First of all, you can question her about what she saw on cross-examination. Secondly, she just reported what she saw, which was what she knew to be a seizure, something like that. And, let the jury gets to say, ugh. I love reading comments. Pips K. Miss Pips, you said yes, maybe not commit crimes, especially right in front of thousands of people with cameras. That's exactly what I say. He performed all of these atrocities in an area where thousands of people congregated with the purpose of taking video and pictures. Darrell. Dum-dum. Okay, let's go back to her side.
Direct relative. That would be hearsay.
Sir, again, people can testify based on personal knowledge. What's hearsay is when it comes into court and they say, so-and-so told me. If they're saying, I was told, or, again, I think you're confusing personal knowledge with hearsay. So you can question people on how they knew that information, but you do that at your peril, because if you open the door for them to tell you how they know, then potentially hearsay is going to come in. So with that, I just wanted to give you that information. I can't obviously further explain to you, sir, other than to say ignorance of the law is not something you can use as a valid kind of defense, or you keep saying I don't understand.
I don't.
You did this of your own free will. You waived your right to an attorney, and the ignorance that you claim is not valid at this point, sir. So
I also
with that,
altered that contract, Your Honor. You accepted the contract in the way that I sent it back to you. Now let.
Okay, I did not cover all of that horrendous, awful hearing, because I did watch it and it was terrible. And I am not a lawyer, but I listened to a couple of people who covered it very, very well and explained a couple of things that, from what I understand, and this I think came from Law and Crime when they covered that hearing and stopped and explained, or another attorney, I can't remember who, but they explained that there is what they call, I guess, a colloquy or a questionnaire or a list of rights that you have. And these two rights, the right to defend yourself and the right to counsel representing you, are in direct conflict. You can't exercise both of those. Okay, I even understand that. Okay, if you're exercising one, you're actually forfeiting your right to the other. Okay, so if you take the lawyer, then you're not representing yourself. If you represent yourself, then you don't have the lawyer. Now, they say over and over again, and I guess somewhere in their statutes or whatever, assistance of counsel or having standby counsel, which sometimes I've seen in some cases where people represent themselves so like this, is not an issue. But I'm not sure that if he could have hired his own assistance of counsel, that would just have been that. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody can chime in. But they go through this, and he did cross things out and change things and mark it up and so forth. And what it says on the form, I guess, is that the form has to be filled out like this. So she gets the form back. She cannot disqualify that form. She can't reject that form. She has to accept the form the way it's been taken, even though it says do not alter this. So what she did was she painstakingly, which is just the proof of what was coming for her, she painstakingly goes through each thing line by line, making sure that every single piece of it is on the record, whether he altered it and signed it or not. He did, in fact, agree to whatever it is that is their statute, the way they've formulated representing yourself. So just because you're a terrible lawyer for yourself and you should be fired. In fact, I think that's part of the problem with representing yourself is you can't go back and say, my counsel was inadequate. Well, you were your counsel. You decided that.
Sir,
Let's
we
be
don't have
fair.
a contract
Let's be fair.
together. The
We
contract
do
is
not.
being
You're right.
misapplied in this circumstance. All right, we are in recess. I'll see everyone.
Okay.
Let's be back at 1:30. Thank you, everyone.
So she's not taking any of his poop here either. All right, let's find where we pick up with him actually becoming the bully. He really... All right.
We'll go back on the record then in State versus Brooks. Appearances are as they were this morning. Do we have Ms. Gajewski available? All right, bring her in and we'll.
Oh,
bring the
please
jury in
don't.
as soon as
Please
she's
don't.
up here for
Third-party
her
intervener
processing.
BS. Oh, here we go.
State that I do consent to that name, nor do I know an individual by that name.
That's
Your lack of consent is noted for the record. All right, Ms.
That is
Gajewski,
duly
if you would
ignored.
please make your way back to the witness stand. And as soon as you are there, I will have the jury brought out. All right, go ahead.
On the record, before the jury comes out, I would like to direct Your Honor to a case, United States versus Cotton,
Mr.
535.
Brooks, if you have a motion, you need to put it in writing, and then I will address it. I'm not going to deal with any oral motions right now. So if you're asking me to reconsider something, you need to follow the proper procedure.
What is the proper procedure? Your
It's
Honor?
in your book, dude.
I've told you repeatedly what a motion is, so. And if it's a reconsideration, 806.07 is the statute I would direct your attention to.
It's not a reconsideration. It's just bringing up the subject matter jurisdiction
No,
again.
that's a-
which
Sir,
they
I've
don't
already
That's a
dealt with this
reconsideration.
repeatedly. So any further times you want me to address it, you need to put it in writing for the court to consider a proper motion with the relief that you're requesting, the legal basis, and the facts upon which you are relying.
So there she said it
I have
again.
that here, Your Honor.
Okay, write it
It's
down.
simply a case. I want a motion.
I've put in several motions that have yet to be
Sir,
answered.
I've already addressed them. The jury's on its way out. I'm not going to delay the start of this cross-examination for this argument yet again.
It's not
I've
an
already
argument.
addressed it. The fact that it's the afternoon doesn't mean I need to address it again. Jury's coming out.
It's going to continue to be brought up. It's going to continue to be brought up.
And there he goes
It hasn't
with
been proven that you have jurisdiction.
saying
This court has
junk in
jurisdiction.
front
I
of the
think it's
jury.
relevant.
saying garbage in front of the jury, and he really thinks he's doing something here.
Subject matter jurisdiction can't be forfeited or waived. You know that.
Note it. I'm right. I said it.
Answering, Your Honor.
Please, the jury's
By,
coming out.
By not answering, Your Honor, you are agreeing to a tactic agreement.
tack it.
Is
Tack
that a
it.
judicial
I think
determination that you don't have to answer?
I don't even know what that means. I think it's just like if you don't answer, you agree. It's not really the same thing, but what he's trying to do. Ugh.
I'll take that as a yes.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated.
Nobody cares, and everything you said is to be disregarded anyway. Like 90% of what you say.
All right, Mr. Brooks, you may question the witness if you have any questions for her.
I don't consent to being
I
called
do.
that name
I
as I
do.
stated before. I will note that, like that
The
noted for the
defendant can
record.
question the witness now.
Is that noted for the record, Your Honor?
For the 100th time,
Ask your
yes.
questions, please.
Is it noted for the record, Your Honor?
See, he's trying to be a bully to her, too. Look at the horns. Look at the horns on his head. Ugh. Are the devil.
As you testified to earlier, you were present at the Christmas parade on November 21st of 2021. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you remember about how long you intended to be at the parade?
Just until we finished the route.
It was a few exhibits that you stated on record that you weren't familiar with seeing. Would that be fair to say?
Once clarified, I did say that.
Okay. Not everybody got shown the videos. So she may or may not have recognized the videos, but once she was shown and they laid foundation, she recognized them as that's what she... He doesn't like it either way, does it? He doesn't like it when people have seen stuff beforehand, or when they... What'd you have to watch it for? What'd you have to watch that many times for?
I remembered seeing them.
So
you,
ugly.
you
Bully.
saw those videos before today?
Yes.
Oh, she did see him.
About how many times do you recall seeing them before today?
Just once.
Do you recall who showed them to you?
Yes.
You stated for the record and for the jury?
Can you repeat that?
Can you state who showed you the videos for the record and for the jury?
Yeah, the state.
He asks a yes or no question expecting the sentence that he's scripting in his head. That's so narcissistic.
And who would you be referring to when you say the state?
The three seated next to you.
Are you referring to the opposite table next to me?
Yes.
Let the record reflect that. She identified the three prosecutors sitting at the prosecution table.
Nobody cares.
The record will so reflect.
Do you recall knowing if you would possibly be called to testify?
Yes.
Were you expecting to testify?
Yes, I got a letter in the mail.
Do you recall if that letter was a subpoena?
Yes, it was a subpoena.
You frequently referred to the vehicle as the car.
The car. You call it the car. No, she just called it a car. And he's going to pummel her now on a generalization or a general word. kind of like saying a table or a desk or a chair or, a car, a truck, or a vehicle. We call it Coke. It's not, they're not all Coca-Cola. Ugh.
Do you recall those statements?
The car.
Yes.
So, for clarification, what type of vehicle did you see that day? Was it a car?
It was a Ford SUV.
And how were you able to determine the make and model of the vehicle?
Objection. The witness did not describe the model.
Grounds.
Thank you.
Overruled. She may answer the question.
So when I first saw it, I made a point to figure out what car it was, not the license plate. And I knew it was either that an Escape or a Mercury. And then as the vehicle got closer to me, I saw the Ford emblem.
So she saw the Ford emblem, and good job for, even though it was overruled, and I don't know that, I guess he was splitting hairs, but he's on top of every detail because he sees what's coming, that Darrell's going to be starting to bully in about 0.9 seconds.
That's how I knew it was a Ford.
So in other words, she saw the emblem.
And during those determinations of the make and model of the vehicle, did you catch a description of the driver?
No, I did not.
Any reason why you would be more focused on the make and model of the vehicle instead of who was driving the vehicle?
I can't tell you why. I just
That's what
made
she
sure I
did.
knew.
Because going from big to small details, that was easier for her to focus on. But he's going to blame her like it's her fault that she didn't see him. But why didn't you see me? I'm so important.
What the vehicle was.
Oh, you're terrible,
And you
Darrell.
didn't try to see if you can spot a license plate in it.
License place?
It all happened way too fast.
Thank you.
So would it be fair to say that it happened fast enough for you to not be able to make out the model and make of the vehicle?
No, I knew exactly what it was.
But not exactly who was driving the vehicle.
No.
No, I did not look who was driving it. Just the make.
Just the make. Not even the model. She didn't even say the model. She said the make. Ford. Your mom's Ford. You're not helping yourself, Darrell.
You stated that you observed some girls from your dance team in the hospital. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And you stated that a few of them were laying on the ground.
Yes.
Any idea why they would be laying on the ground in the hospital?
Because there was so many people, there wasn't enough room. So people were standing, sitting, and laying on the ground.
And probably by this point, Darrell's already been whining about his shoulder hurting, and they have to take him to the hospital. The police have to take him to the hospital. So yes, they were likely, even during COVID, we had people on the floor. That there's usually hallway beds. So on a regular night, without anything special going on, there are beds along the hallway. They're called hallway beds. They actually have numbers and oxygen things and everything. They're almost a room. And when that is even stressed, they will put you wherever they can. Wheelchairs, in the waiting room. And during COVID, parts of waiting rooms were converted to, something where chairs were put in and people who could sit up but needed to recline and have some semblance of supervision. All of this is part of the, I talked a lot about how mass casualty is handled on the street. Hospitals also have a plan for those mass casualties. As we in the fire department, would be setting up command. Somebody is actually in charge of calling and finding out how many patients each hospital can take and what level of patient, and sometimes even what types of injuries should go to what hospital. So they're well aware that something's coming in that's going to then stress their thing. I was on a team at a hospital at one point where I would be called from home and have to go into the hospital to help out with a mass incident or something like that.
because the rooms were overflowed.
Were they being attended to at that time?
Nope, because there was too many people.
Did you recall feeling like maybe they should have been attended to, seeing as how they may have been seriously injured?
The nurses were attending to who needed it immediately. The nurses were doing the best they could.
So it would be fair to say that the girls that you observed on the ground weren't of immediate concern to the nurses at that time.
I wouldn't say that. I would say what she just said, which is they were doing the best that they could. You can only do so many things at once, and you don't want to miss something.
At that time, they weren't.
Everybody but the girl who had the seizure had to go into the room.
Were you injured in any way during this incident?
I was not.
And you testified earlier to the approximate speed of the vehicle. Do you recall what your answer was?
Yeah, about 55 miles per hour.
And how were you able to come to that determination?
Because I've drove for a couple of years now, and that's just the number that came to my head. Because when I drive, I know what 55 feels like, and I know what 25 feels like, and that was just my best guess.
So it would be fair to say that you were making an assumption. You didn't know for sure.
Nope. Yeah, that was just my best guess.
You made a reference to a young woman by the name of Sam. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And what relation do you have to Sam? Is she just part of the dance group or close friend or?
Yeah, she's part of the dance group, but I became super close with her ever since I started working there.
Do you recall seeing her struck by the vehicle?
No.
She's doing a good job. Darrell prepared as always.
Do you remember where she was at the time that you saw the vehicle pass you?
Yes, she was on the front left side if you're looking towards the truck that was in our group. She was on the left side in front, first girl.
Would it be fair to say that from that angle that you would be able to see her if she was struck?
I was turned the other way. She was behind my back.
So you don't know for sure where she was at when the vehicle passed you?
I do. She was in her formation that I had put her in.
He's trying to tease out, I guess, the fact that she should have been able to see certain things. I'm gonna give away a big secret. Okay, if we make mistakes driving in the ambulance, which happens, okay, We hit signs, we back into mailboxes. A few people have hit the gas things when we're going to get diesel fuel, whatever. Um, and you have to write a report when that happens. And when you write the report, the person driving has to say, I don't know, the sign jumped out at me, or, I saw a ball rolling across the street and I slammed on my brakes, whatever it is. And the passenger usually says something in their report like, I sneezed, therefore my eyes were closed. Getting to my point, I sneezed, therefore my eyes were closed. Because when you sneeze, your eyes are closed. When you are screaming, which I fully suspect that she was probably screaming, her focus is blurred at best. And the memory is shaky, and the details can be not so clear. So I don't know what he's trying to prove by saying that that she can't recall the traumatic details. I don't know what he's trying to prove, but it's not helping him. What do you think? I don't think it's helping him at all.
Do you know if anyone was standing there or in that position with her at that time?
With her?
She has her own spot, and there was girls behind her and next to her, but she would have been the only dancer in her spot.
So it would have been people in her general area, but not directly next to her.
Yeah, they have space in between all of them.
Is there a point to that?
Do you remember what you did immediately after the vehicle passed you?
Yep, I ran to Alice and I picked her up immediately.
See the highlighting on, I 100% guarantee that was not Darrell highlighting that. That was the attorneys and Darrell's reading because he's so prepared.
In regards to your dance team, did you observe anyone struck?
I just remember seeing bodies in the air, but I can't say I remember seeing a vehicle hit them. I remember seeing bodies in the air and on the ground.
Wow. Just wow. I can't even stop it for that. Just wow.
So at that point, it would be fair to say that you didn't know if the people that were on the ground or in the air or whatnot were in fact struck by a vehicle.
What kind of ass over end question is that? How stupid. No, they were just jumping for joy. Oh my gosh. What are you talking about? What kind of question is that? That goes right along the lines of who is you? Okay, who is you? Which is one of his famous lines. Who is you? Oh my God. Or, I don't consent to being called that name. Oh God.
Well, I did know it was the vehicle because I turned around and I saw the vehicle coming towards them. And then I think I blacked out until they actually were in the air and on the ground.
He will lob onto anything. He's going to lob onto that too. And it's not even really her fault. Because she's describing...
By blacked out, what do you mean by that?
She's describing exactly what I said. Like, when something that traumatic happens, the focus is so blurred. She was the one screaming in that video.
Like that, what that means for the jury and for the record.
For the record.
So, I can't see anything, but I can hear it. So, when I say blackout, I mean I can't visualize it, but I can hear it happening.
Was that the first time that you ever had a blackout?
Yeah,
So it's never happened before that day.
never.
Any idea what caused it on that
Oh my
occasion?
God. Maybe the trauma
Stress,
of, yes,
shock.
of seeing some fool drive through her friends and run them over like bowling pins. Horns. Look at the horns on his head. Look at the horns on his head.
And you stated that you got into a ambulance and with someone who was struck and then left the parade at that point.
A squad car, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, a squad. You left at that point.
Yeah.
Do you recall about what time that was?
No.
No.
Do you recall how long you were with the person being transported at that time?
No, I wasn't worried about time.
Some of the older girls probably didn't have parents with them, or parents had multiple kids, and I now know that the Urel family kids went to more than one hospital because the mom, we'll find out later, goes to Children's, and at least one, if not both of the other ones, went to Waukesha Memorial, perhaps. So her kids were split up, which we try not to do, but depending on the severity and the resources that we have, we may need to send children. We may need to send them by themselves or with a police officer as a guardian until the parents can come. But he just has no point. I think I had more of a point. My point being, during a mass casualty incident, think we try to keep families together, but that's not the first and foremost. The first and foremost is getting the people who are being transported out of there to the appropriate facility that can, attempt to handle them, and being such a mass casualty at this point. I can't imagine, I don't know of a hospital that can take 68 people. Now, some of the people aren't, I don't know if all the traumas were transported, but even the traumas would be limited 1 to 2 to 3.
Do you recall if anyone was walking directly next to you at the time of the incident?
I was walking next to the girls on my team that got struck.
I didn't understand that question.
Do you recall walking next to Sam or Sam walking next to you?
No, she was behind me.
What difference does...
Do you recall making the statement that, and this is, I'm guessing, in a summary report given to Detective Schwartz? Do you recall being interviewed by Detective Schwartz?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you recall making a statement that Samantha was walking next to you?
No, I don't recall that.
She may have been next to her at some point. So remember, these dancers are going to do like leaps and skips, and this lady is just walking next to them, kind of with the group, and so that's going to like shift. Same with the band director; it's not going to be in the exact same spot.
Do you recall making a statement that you did not have enough time to tell Sam to move?
Yes.
And this was the same Sam that you just testified that you did not see struck, correct?
Yeah. Yes, I didn't see her hit.
Thinks he's doing something there by the jury hearing that she didn't see it. But I think that any reasonable person can understand exactly what she did and did not see, and exactly what could have been seen and not seen and remembered. So you're not helping yourself, Darrell. You're not.
So it would be fair to say that you made the statement that you didn't have enough time to tell her to move, but didn't actually see what happened to her.
Because she was on the same side as me, and that's why I was saying I didn't have enough time to tell her to move, but I wasn't next to her.
Any idea what may have stopped you from being able to see what happened?
You already asked
Because I
that.
blacked out.
The trauma of the incident is what she's saying.
At the point that you blacked out, at that point you didn't see anyone struck. Would that be fair to say?
She didn't see anything.
I don't remember exactly the vehicle hitting, but I just remember bodies flying. I think I kind of try to block it out.
Now he's going to get to be the bully. Come on.
Do you recall making a statement that everything happened so fast,
Yes.
but not fast enough for you to identify the vehicle?
Nope. I remember exactly what the vehicle was.
Yes, stupid. It's you that she didn't see.
Do you recall if the vehicle had any damage at that point?
I was only paying attention to what kind of make it was because I could see the body of it was an SUV, and like I said, I thought it was either the make, like the Mercury, or a Ford, and so I was just paying attention to the emblem when the grill got closer and I saw it was a Ford. I wasn't looking for any damage.
About how close would you estimate the vehicle came to you?
I don't know.
Did it get close to you?
I don't know. I blacked out.
She's probably bracing for impact.
Do you remember what side of the road you were on when you blacked out?
Yeah, I was on, if you are looking at the truck, I was on the left side. So if you're walking in the parade, I was on the left side. But I had turned around, and so I was on the right side because I was looking at the vehicle.
So at what point did your memory go fuzzy?
So I turned around and I saw a car or an SUV, and I told myself, "You're crazy. You don't see that." And then all of a sudden, I don't remember anything. I can hear it, and then after, I remember seeing the bodies. So I would say I blacked out from when I saw the vehicle to after it passed.
Any idea how long that may have been, roughly, if you recall?
A second.
So pretty much like the snap of a finger.
Yeah, because it went by so fast.
And from your recollection, that was quick enough for you to miss anybody being struck.
I'm sorry. Let me.
I blacked out, so I didn't see them physically get hit.
Okay, she says the same thing over and over. Okay, so Miss Pips K, are you talking about? She said, "Go listen to the victim impact statement." Several of them stood up and said, "I am the plaintiff and the victim impacts." You are looking ahead. Yeah, I think they do. I think they do a good job of saying what it is, that we are part of this. And he still doesn't get it. He doesn't want to hear it. He's not hearing it, but we all know. So, yes, we know who the victims are. We know who the plaintiffs are. We're all the plaintiffs. We're all, I don't know, but we're still looking at this, and we are all affected. I know this is helping me get through a lot. I'm seeing people, I was called a snowflake and everything after my incident, and mine was small compared to this, and I'm seeing I'm not a snowflake. Neither are these people. They're all heroes.
Outside of Detective Shorts, did you were you interviewed by any other law enforcement?
No, I only gave that statement, and that was it.
What about at the hospital? Were you interviewed at the hospital?
No, I was not.
Did you call yourself to make a report about what you saw that evening?
No, I went and gave the statement right after I left the hospital, and that was it.
Did you do any follow-up to see if your report was received by anyone in law enforcement?
No.
Did anybody from law enforcement contact you about the statement that you gave?
No.
Do you recall at any time reading or seeing a complaint in this matter?
No.
Do you recall at any time filing any claim in this matter?
No. Are you saying with the police department?
Yeah, no, he's not saying
Yes, with the
anything.
police.
Yeah, no. I just gave a statement, and that was it.
You don't know what you're
Would you
saying.
consider yourself a party to this matter?
Objection. Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained. On relevance ground.
Here we go.
Do you recall if you were contacted by the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Grounds.
Overruled, she may answer.
Can you say who the plaintiff is?
She don't
I'm
understand that.
asking you, are you aware of the plaintiff? Were you contacted by the plaintiff?
She doesn't understand that. Regular people who are dance instructors are not lawyers and law scholars. The expectation is like, ugh.
At any time.
I don't know what the plaintiff is.
Yeah.
The plaintiff would be
You can't
whoever
explain
is
it to her.
bringing the claim for the charges in the matter.
So not. Then yeah.
Objection.
Yeah, what? You
Yeah,
were
she doesn't
contacted
understand.
by the plaintiff?
Objection.
She answered yes. I'll ask her grounds.
An objection, hold on.
Objection. Move to strike
Grounds.
legal analysis,
Grounds.
and the defendant has testified.
Yes.
I'll sustain the
All of that.
objection. I'll grant the request to strike the question and
She just doesn't understand what the question is. She answers it to the best of her ability. She's doing the best she can. I like her. She's a good witness.
the
Like
answer
you,
for the reasons given by
young
the
lady.
state. You may rephrase if you'd like.
Who were you contacted about testifying?
The state.
He could not bully this one out of the blackout thing and what she was able to recall and not recall because of the trauma of the whole thing. He wasn't able to bully her. She stood strong, and now, so he's almost done with her, but he could not bully her out. He starts. This is pretty weak.
And that,
This
I'm
is pretty
assuming
weak.
state of Wisconsin, correct?
I just know them as the state, right there.
Right there, as in referring to the prosecution table,
Correct.
to let the record show that she identified the state as the 3 attorneys at the prosecution table.
No objection.
Record will so reflect.
What did that do for you? What did that prove? Did that prove any of the sovereign stuff makes sense? Nope. Oh, it's giving me a headache.
And do you recall having a conversation with the state?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that you would identify the state as the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Can we just determine that she doesn't really get that? She doesn't know
Have
those
you
legal
ever
terms?
had any interactions with the plaintiff in this matter?
Interactions?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Sustained.
Do you see the plaintiff in the courtroom today?
Same objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Do you even know if there's a plaintiff?
Same objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
You're just looking stupid, Darrell.
So as far as you know, in your opinion, who would you say is the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Oh my god. Shut him down.
Were you present at the parade with any family that day?
No.
Just 1 second. And when you visited the hospital, how did you learn of the injuries to any of your dance team partners?
Which hospital are you referring to?
I only heard you say Memorial. You might have said two. I think you said Children's one time too. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, that's correct.
I guess I would be referring to Memorial.
So the only injury, well, not even injury, I only knew Julia had something wrong with her brain at the time because they saw spinal fluid coming out of her nose.
Oh my god.
And were you told that directly
That's
from
not
the doctor?
good.
I heard them freaking out and rushing her to a CT scan because I was right next to her, helping them as she seized and vomited.
Yeah.
So you overheard with.
He's bringing this testimony in. And I don't know, you guys tell me, I don't know if you're medically trained or not, but even at my rudimentary level of neurosurgery, which is rudimentary at best, I've been involved in a lot of neuroangios, neuro ICU patients, patients with head injuries, patients I've taken in from the street with depressed skull fractures that we've seen cerebral spinal fluid. And I am telling you that that is an ominous sign. That is a critical sign. And I don't think you have to be a medical professional to know that your spinal fluid, which is what I think she called it, is supposed to be contained around your brain and spine. If it's coming out places, you're in trouble.
From the nurses, what the diagnosis was.
Yes.
What about for Sam?
Are you referring to the night of?
Yes, when I'm guessing you saw her at some point that night.
I did not see her that night.
Did you see her at any point?
I did. I was there at the hospital the first day she was able to have a visitor.
And were you told directly by medical professionals at that time that you were able to see her of any possible injuries?
I wasn't told by them. She actually called me.
Can I strike that answer for hearsay, Your Honor?
No, you asked the
No.
question.
But the answer was hearsay.
No, it wasn't.
You asked the question.
But I don't think it even was. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. She didn't say what specifically the girl said, or Sam, I don't know, I guess Sam could be a Samantha or Sam could be a Samuel. So either way, I don't think she said what was told to her, but that there was a conversation. And that person's not the one with the cerebral spinal fluid coming out. That's a whole different individual. So, Darrell, can I strike that answer because I didn't like it? It didn't go with my semantics and my narcissistic behavior. And, even though 90% of this, makes me look pretty terrible, I want to make sure that, the record says what I want it to say because, I want it to hide all my bad stuff, but, God. I'm tired. I need a break. Oh, God. He's trying to bully her, but I think this is a swing and a miss so far. Look at I'm sorry, but Zach Wichow is looking around with his eyes, and I feel like he is imagining a cartoon version of this whole thing going on, where he's able to get up with one of those big cartoon sledgehammers, just go pound, 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 and whack-a-mole. Whack-a-mole. Oh my God. Look at him.
In the days after the incident, did you have quite a few interactions with the dance team?
Yeah, we tried to keep ourselves busy and we did a lot of things together.
Did you attend any visuals or any memorials or anything like that?
Yes, I did.
Would you stay for the record and for the jury? How many?
I believe it was on Monday. I went to that vigil.
And that would be the only one that you attended?
Yeah, that was the only
How
one
does this
I
make you
had.
look good? Was there a point there? Darrell, I am aging quickly as this goes on. Do you get to a point? Oh my gosh. Get to a point. Jeez.
Were you aware of things set up financially for the victims?
Can you repeat that?
Were you aware of any
Things?
For example, like GoFundMe's or donations or anything for the victims? Were you aware of anything like that going on in the days after the incident?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Did you yourself donate to any causes associated with the incident?
I did not.
Are you still currently a member of the dance team?
Can you tell me which one you're referring to?
The, what is it, stream dance team?
Yeah, I'm not. I do not work there anymore.
And was that decision made by the incident, or was it just a personal decision?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
It wouldn't make him look good. If she left her job or any association with something that she found so dear that she was a coach for it, based on the trauma of that incident, how does it make Darrell look good? Like, oh, what a troll.
You testified earlier to having the blackout and that being the first time that happened. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Have you had any blackouts anytime since that day?
No.
First and only time would be that day.
Correct.
No further questions.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Kajewski, with respect to that blackout, you testified that you don't have a visual memory of the SUV actually striking any girls that day. Is that right?
Correct.
You testified, however, that you remember what it sounded like.
Mm-hmm.
Describe that.
Yes, sorry. Yes, so it sounded like those big orange construction cones just being hit. That's what I remember it as.
You do have a visual memory of the immediate aftermath of the strike?
I do.
And what is that memory?
Hearsay.
How is
It's overruled.
how is that hearsay?
Just pure chaos. Shoes everywhere, palms everywhere, bodies,
Everywhere.
people screaming, running around. Just chaos.
When asked
How didn't we just go over hearsay for like 20 minutes, Darrell?
on cross-examination what caused your blackout, you said stress and shock. You remember giving that testimony?
Yes.
At any time in your life before November 21st of 2021, had you ever witnessed an SUV drive through a group of young women?
Objection.
No.
Hearsay.
Overruled.
How is that a hearsay?
Relevancy.
Relevancy.
Overruled. You may answer.
No.
What about any time since November 21st, 2021?
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled.
No.
That's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you. You may step down. She may.
Thank you. Call Jamie Sutton.
So they're going to go through both of these girls before. I guess they did have lunch. All right, I'm gonna. What are we gonna do here? Yep, I think we'll stop here. We'll do the other young lady in another video, just so that I get a break and you guys get a break. I don't know if anybody can watch this for more than an hour at a time. I don't think he was able to bully her. Good job. Good job. She slayed the bully. All right, like, subscribe, and share if you wish. Everybody stay warm today. Bye.